Hi everyone, my name is Rita Alfaro and I'm the music librarian for Fort Worth Public Library. And having a quick Q&A with our awesome Amplify 817 teaser artist, Miss Summer Dean. Hi, Summer.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Would you like to introduce yourself, say a little bit about yourself to the people who might not be familiar with you or your work or Amplify 817?
Yeah. I'm Summer Dean. I've lived in Fort Worth for about 15 years now, and I didn't only grew up about an hour and a half away, so it's always been like the nearest city. I've been playing music in town for about 6 or so years, and it's been really amazing watching the music scene in Fort Worth come into what it's coming into. So I'm excited for ideas like Amplify 817 and a library and Visit Fort Worth and then the mayor and everybody getting together and rallying around our artists. And it's cool to be here. It's cool to be one.
Yeah, we're really excited to have you on board. I love your music. I think it's absolutely fantastic.
Thanks.
So we'll get started with the questions. What is your earliest music memory?
Well, I've grown up around music. My aunt is a music teacher. My mom taught piano, and my dad's a mother. Everybody's musical on both sides of the family, but my earliest musical memories, my mom taught piano for a lot of years. So music was always in the house, and not just music, but theory, and it was common language in our world. And I remember my mom played this big, beautiful grand piano at the First Baptist Church in Jacksboro, and I would, during the sermon or during the offertory and everything, she would let me lay underneath the piano. So the sound was just overwhelming and really big under there. And I remember being a little kid being like, oh man, this literally felt like the frequencies were hitting me. And so I've always been drawn to music. So I think I come by it pretty honestly.
So would you say your family's been an inspiration for you, and that kind of just sparked your interest in music in general?
Yeah. It's just, I knew where middle C was when I was able to speak. I mean, so I started playing piano as soon as I could reach the pedals, and it's just something that always felt natural to me, and I inherited it. So my family has a whole lot to do with it. Yeah, for sure.
So aside from your family, because I know for me also, my family, I feel like most people, their family probably plays a large interest and influence in kind of the music that most people like and develop. But who else would be your biggest musical influence?
Well, you're talking about influence. I have a friend that's a country music singer and songwriter in Brooklyn, New York. And he got put on the same Spotify playlist, and I had never heard of him. But I was clicking through, and who else got on there with me, and I loved his music, and it was really like old school Merle Haggard traditional kind of country, and I was like,
wow. Yeah.
This guy's from Brooklyn, how cool. So I reached out, and he's from Brooklyn, and we were talking about being authentic country or whatever any of that means, and I said, look man, I think you're more authentic country than me. I mean, or just as. I mean, I can't help but be country. I grew up that way. I opened my mouth and like there's no, this is who I am. But you were not raised around it. He was raised around country music and found it within him. And I think that's pretty daggum cool. So it's a nature versus nurture kind of thing. We are products of our environment, but we can find new things and become those. It's pretty cool. But influences, I am mega influenced. It changes as you evolve as an artist, and it kind of, you get these different vibes or in these different projects, and you start putting yourself inside projects, so you become really influenced different ways. The last project I worked on was an album, and it'll release, well, it's going to release during this pandemic. We've halted on that, but it's a real Merle Haggard inspired record. I'm really inspired by Merle Haggard and Connie Smith. She's one of the original kind of country queens, along with, of course, Dolly and Loretta and everybody. But Connie was a little less I guess famous, but she's, I'm really inspired by Connie Smith, and, you know, the ebbs and flows of your creativity, you get kind of molded different ways. So I've gone through different phases where I'm inspired by a lot of different things.
Yeah, and that's really great. And I feel like that's really important for artists. And maybe people don't really realize that, I mean, we're all growing and we're all changing, and artists like yourself are kind of growing and changing as well. And so it influences your music. So even though you are a country musician, it kind of goes into maybe different parts of that or different genres. And definitely the people who come into our lives influence that. So that's really so why is music important to you?
That's like a simple question. That's like it's a really profound question at the same time. I was never a big reader. I was never very athletic. Music has always been the medium and the avenue, and for just the way I've thought about things. You know, it's funny how a song can come on the radio and it can completely change your mood.
Yeah.
And I think I just always used that. And this morning I was really tired and put on a certain Willie Nelson record, and I was pumped back up again. So it's entirely important. You know, I don't know how to exist without it.
It's just part of you and your soul. And
yeah, for sure. Especially you know, country music.
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of people probably feel that way about music, whether they're in that professional setting or performer setting, or even just the casual listener. Just music can affect you in so many different ways. And that's why there's music therapy and music education, just different aspects of it. Cause I really feel like it helps people develop and change, and
it really does. Yeah. Music can change your mood, and it can take you back to a place, you know, and I think, you know, where the world is now, the state of our environment and our social environment right now. If you look back to music in the 60s, it was completely powerful time in the 60s and 70s with music, and developments of new sounds, and people got expanded entirely. So I'm really looking forward to musically what's going to come out of this environment that we're in right now, because some of the best music we've ever had is, to me, from the 60s in any genre, and it just changed so much then because of our environment. So who knows, we're going to get pretty cool music out of this, I think. I mean, we're positive.
Yeah, and that's what we need right now, is to just remain positive during this time. Music, if anything, will get us through this time.
Yes.
But what do you hope others feel from your music when they're listening to it?
I just hope they feel it. I don't really, it's pretty interesting when people come up and talk to you about your music. Just that is pretty amazing. They even listen. And sometimes it's pretty cool when they get something from it, and I didn't know, I didn't intend, that's not where I came from, but if that's the person felt from the then I'm like, oh, cool. So I just want you to feel it. Like, I don't, even if you just really listening to the lyrics and you're just grooving, that's cool to me. Or if you really listen to the lyrics and it changes the way you think about something, or you relate to it somehow. So I just don't care what they feel, as long as they feel something.
And I know a lot of people, we don't have live performances right now. And I know you do amazing, really amazing live performances. How do you hope people feel when they see your live performances?
Oh man, that's what I miss the most. And that's my favorite part of this whole business is the performance. And that 45 to 90 minutes that we're up there. And I hope, to me, when someone goes out to hear music, they're probably there for a good time. Like, they're out, and it kind of depends on the venue too. But if it's like a sit and listen venue, then I want to give them lyrics they can connect to. And venue like a rock box and everybody's partying. I want to give them a good time. So I feel like when I'm performing, it's about the audience. It's not really about me. Arrows need to be pointed out. And so I just hope they feel connected to what we're doing, and they feel our energy and our happiness. And I hope that they feel like that I'm there for them, and that I'm untouchable. I'm not a hologram. Like, I'm a person, and I'm going to make mistakes. And you know, and let's hang after. I hope they feel the realness and the personalness that I put into the shows.
Yeah, that's an amazing perspective to have, is that you're there for them. I think a lot of people go on stage and they think like, I'm here, I need to do okay, I need to do well, and maybe not have that mindset that you just said of like, I'm doing this for you, and you definitely sound like you read the room, which is really amazing to hear.
Yeah, I feel like you gotta. I mean, that's a win-win, because if the patrons have a good time, then that venue's going to have you back. Mm-hmm. And then more people are going to be there, and the venue's just there to make money, right? So if I can fill a room for that venue, then we're all good. So I feel like it's all about the people that come to the show. It's not about anybody else. So that's fun, man. That's fun.
Have you been doing any virtual or live performances?
I've done some. I haven't done a flat out live stream.
Yeah.
I kept waiting it out, thinking, nah. I kept waiting it out and thinking, no, it'll pick back up. We'll go back out on tour. And, you know, it hasn't. I did some pre-recorded videos, but man, those live streams are weird. They, you're, like I said, you're so used to playing for the audience, and then they're not there. It's really strange, but I haven't done one. And at first I was a little not confident, like, oh, nobody wants to sit here and replay in my living room, you know. So I haven't done one yet, but I don't know. We may get one together with some friends. So who knows?
That would be amazing. I know there's. Yeah. I've really been enjoying them, but I'm definitely a person who enjoys going to the live shows. So it's one of those things where it's like I miss it enough that I'm willing to go and do that. And especially if there's the sort of donation kind of button, I'm that person as well. And
that's good.
Most people are, because I know a lot of artists are struggling right now. So hopefully that's helping during this time, especially because the bars have been reshut and we're just waiting on live again.
But can you imagine that first concert back? Like how beautiful that's going to be. Like the positivity in the air is going to be amazing at the first concert, you know. That's going to be pretty amazing.
Everything's going to be electrifying once it comes.
Yeah.
But I know you said that you're not from Fort Worth. You lived around Fort Worth, but how does being in Fort Worth shape your music?
Oh, I don't know. I know musicians all over the world, and especially in Texas. I don't know any other artists that feel as supported as we do. I'll talk to like other musicians in other cities, and they're like, oh, it's this, you know, this Fort Worth thing, and they're always like, God, you're always doing those. I'm like, right? Oh, it's amazing, amazing. I feel completely supported, and I feel lifted up. And one of the main things to me that excites me about how Fort Worth is embracing and holding up their artists is once we develop that scene here, my hope is that when touring musicians come into town, and even though Fort Worth music fans might not know who they are, they're still going to show up for them. Like, oh, I just like hearing music tonight, and there's all these places in Fort Worth I can go. It doesn't matter if it's the same person I've seen all the time, or if it's someone I've never heard of, or I don't even know. I'm just going to show up because the music's going to be good. I hope that Fort Worth, because of how much work they're putting into the scene, I hope it becomes like that, not just for Fort Worth artists, but for just the scene of this city.
Yeah.
And it's sometimes when people tour through and there's nobody at a show, I feel bad. I'm like, no, Fort Worth is a great city and we love music. Just keep coming, you know? So I hope that the people, the listeners, most important people, just like the people that fill that venue, the listeners most important people. So go out and hear music. I mean, we have this amazing scene. Let's show people how awesome it is, you know?
Yeah, definitely. So what is your favorite thing about the Fort Worth music scene? I know you already kind of talked about the fans and
Yeah.
but is there any
I
other?
like the diversity. I like that, you know, Fort Worth, a lot of people that don't know anything about it are automatically going to think Cowtown, and that's wonderful. And that's a huge heritage that we'll never let go of.
Mhm.
It's an important heritage in Fort Worth. But what they don't realize is the complete diversity in this city of music and culture and talent. And it's not a separated diversity. We all just hang because we're all from Fort Worth, and that seems to be the tying bond in all of us, and that seems like all we need. I haven't ever felt weird, and I haven't ever felt different in a crowd of Fort Worth people, even though I may look different. I haven't ever felt different, and the diversity in Fort Worth is I mean, that's the coolest thing. And being from, like I said, being from Fort Worth is enough that's all we need, and we get along because of that.
Yeah. There's definitely a lot of really interesting pockets of music culture here, and it's been fun. I've lived here for about 8 years now. It's been fun discovering all the little areas to go and all the venues, and then it's just on the grow, especially musically. So that's been great to see that growth here. So again, part of that, and I'm glad we're kind of doing that with Amplify 817.
Yeah. Well, thank goodness. I mean, and the diversity shows the Amplify 817 artists too. I mean, it's not just one thing. There's all different kinds of music on there. And like you said, all the little venues, if we just keep having people like at the library and people at the Amplify Fort Worth to keep shining a light on our scene here, like it's just going to keep getting better and better. So it's really cool.
Yeah, we're excited about that.
Yeah.
But on the subject of Amplify 817, how do you feel like Amplify 817 helps your music or other musicians' music?
Well, I think about the diversity too. Like there's probably like country music fans in town are going to know who I am, and I know who they are, and that's beautiful. But I don't listen to like hip hop on the reg, so I wouldn't go to a hip hop bar normally either, and I wouldn't go to a hip hop show. But because of like Amplify 817 and this city shining a light on all the music here, I'm aware of hip hop artists in Fort Worth, and we're friends. And I've written some songs with some of them, and so some of them that sounds like songs of people that I would normally never know because we're getting put on these same playlists and we're getting put on these things together because we're from Fort Worth, and it's the coolest little mashup. And I've written songs with Abraham Alexander, which we are completely different styles, but we know each other because of being from Fort Worth. And so when you go to all the artists that are on the Amplify 817 roster, it's you're going to come across new things that you didn't know about. And think of your favorite artist right now. There's at one time you didn't know about that artist.
Yeah.
And so it could be somebody that's right in your hometown. So it's really awesome.
Yeah, we're really excited to show the diversity that here in Fort Worth on the Amplify 817 site. And like I mentioned, our submissions have just closed. So right now, me and the curators are kind of picking and choosing and trying to make sure that we get as many really cool artists, cool pockets of the different music culture that we have featured on there. So we're about that. But final question for us, what advice do you have for any aspiring musicians here in Fort Worth?
Yeah, I could give some probably a theatrical device. It would be a little more, artistic, but honest advice I would give to someone that wants to start playing out is to treat your music like it is music and it is creativity, and you do need to be good. You need to work hard, but if you treat it as a business and an extension of your personality, I think that will take you a lot further. Like if you I think one thing that's helped me is stretching my music, not just in the bar to the music fans, but getting in on different committees and getting in on the industry and the infrastructure of the music in Fort Worth. I think that makes your music become from a hobby to a career, when you take it from just, you know, not just writing songs, because that's a major part of it, but when you take it into, like I said, arrows going out instead of arrows going in. And so if you constantly think of it as a business and how can I make this bigger for everyone here, then your music kind of becomes your job then. And that's how that has helped me quit my 9 to 5 and become a full-time musician.
Awesome.
COVID hits.
Yeah.
Yeah, but getting involved in the community and the infrastructure of the city, I think that's my biggest advice.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, thank you so much. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we end this Q&A or anything?
Yeah, I can be kind of straight. You know, I could move to Austin and I could move to Nashville, and people always ask, oh, are you going to move to Nashville, you know, being a country artist, and you know, are you going to, or you know, you're going to move to Austin? And although Nashville and Austin are wonderful cities, and I'm glad that we have them, but I don't need to. And I always respond that to people, no, the scene in Fort Worth is great. I don't need to move to a city, you know, and I don't need to move somewhere else. And I think it's because of 17 and other people that are building the infrastructure here, that Fort Worth, I'm glad to be a part of the ground scene. I can't wait for 10 years from now where we're going to be. It's going to be awesome.
It should be amazing. Thank you so much again for
Rita.
Today. We really appreciate it with Amplify 17, the Fort Worth Public Library, and I hope you have a really great weekend.
Thanks. Bye, y'all. Thank you. Mwah.